let's talk about the Switch 2.
Okay.
The Switch 2. My goodness, the rumors flying around the Switch 2 they're not quite NX level of nuts,
Mm-hmm.
but they're pretty nuts now. And I think that just shows like people are pretty starved for some news here. We talked about this a bit on Zelda Cast Top 10s. We're firmly in Nintendo Direct territory, and as a matter of fact, we had a Direct last year by this point, I believe, because I saw in my
Oh, okay.
I think that's right. I think I saw in my
I
Facebook
always, for some
memories.
reason, in my brain, whenever it comes to direct time, I'm like, it's the middle of the month. It's the middle of the month. It's the middle of the month. So I always wait until like the, second, third week of the month
Yeah,
to
you know what?
really like be like, where's the direct?
I'm gonna fact check myself. Oh yeah, okay. So last year, February the 8th was the Direct.
Wow,
So
okay.
February the 8th,
That
because
was you know what? That was a huge, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. That was a huge direct for us. That was a big direct for us. Like February time was huge news for us.
Metroid Prime Remastered. It was, yeah, a very underwhelming Tears of the Kingdom trailer. I do remember. A better Tears of the
There's
Kingdom
so much
trailer.
news came out though, like that in that month. I remember we were talking about like the year, analyzing the year, and February was
Yeah.
like this long compared to every other month.
Well, I mean that is true because there was actually stuff that happened in February, and it felt like the rest.
Yeah.
It felt like the rest of the year post Tears of the Kingdom. Like you had a release here or there, like Mario Wonder, Pikmin, but
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it just felt like for me it was just like okay, like this is coming to an end like
Mm-hmm.
quickly. Um,
Yep.
and if I felt that way last year, I mean I definitely feel that way this year.
Yeah.
It's just like after Princess Peach Showtime, there is nothing, and we could still be getting a direct, but I think it's more likely that what's going to happen is we're going to get the Switch 2 reveal presentation, and we're just going to ride out the rest of the year, a couple months with a few Switch games here and there, and then we're going to be bulking up for the Switch 2. Because yeah, there is nothing on the horizon for the Switch.
Yeah. I I saw somebody on Twitter or X or whatever talking about how maybe Nintendo is like holding out on talking about the Switch 2 because they do have some games that came out last year that they're still wanting to have sales, and if they announce the
Uh,
Switch 2, they might not, that might put a halt to like sales.
I think that argument is so bogus.
What?
Because you have 100 million Switches out there already. Like
Uh-huh.
you can't tell me that you're going to delay your future, the launch of a new console, because you want to squeeze 2 million more copies out of Super Mario Wonder. I'm
Yeah.
not buying that for a New York minute. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And
Fair enough.
people said that to me when I was like, "Oh yeah, the Switch 2 is going to be revealed in like December," and they were like, "Well, what about the holiday sales?" And I was like, "This game is going to sell whether Switch 2 comes out yesterday, tomorrow, or the day after. So like whatever."
Hmm.
Not to. I guess I am being dismissive of that rumor, but like I don't buy it.
It's
Um,
just like the biggest thing that I've seen swirling around whenever I see a rumor pop up on Twitter, especially when people are like, there's no way they're going to announce it anytime soon. Like, they still think it's going to be this year, but not like next month,
you know, here's my counter argument to that. A more legitimate counter argument to that is like there are always going to be games coming out for the Switch up until the day that it comes out, it stops being produced, right? Like,
Hmm.
there's always going to be games. Like, they hold off on announcing the Nintendo Switch because they didn't want to sabotage the 3DS games that were coming out and worry about those sales? No, they didn't because it's silly. You announce it when you're ready, and then you release it. And in the
Hmm.
meantime, Princess Peach Showtime is going to sell whatever it's going to sell. Mario Wonder is going to sell whatever it's going to sell. Whatever, right? Like,
Hmm.
there's always going to be a game that's coming out around the corner that you're going to have
Yeah.
to announce this next system by. And if there's not, let's say they announce it after 3 months after Princess Peach Showtime comes out. It's like, okay, well, we're announcing it. It's not coming out today. It's coming out in like 6 months. So like, now what? Nothing for nine
I'm
months?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really hopeful that they're prepared for the demand because
Yeah.
when the Switch came out, there was like like it sold out, and I didn't get it for 2 weeks. I pre-ordered and didn't get it for 2 weeks.
Oof.
PlayStation 5 only really became available for like a lot of people last December, or I should say December 2022.
Hmm.
Because for the longest time, like straight years, you couldn't get a PlayStation 5. And I know that COVID had a factor in that. Well, in the PlayStation 5 aspect, not the Switch, but I just worry because I'm like, as soon as that Switch 2 is announced, I want to get my hands on one because I'm worried that I'm not going to.
Yeah, totally. Um, we'll see. I hope, God, I hope you're right, but I could just see Nintendo pulling their same usual BS that they always pull with the Switch
Yeah.
2. So that being said, like I think the Switch 2 is imminent. Like it has to be imminent because
Okay.
there is not a dang thing coming for Nintendo Switch. Now, this Nintendo could release a direct next week, and maybe all that changes. But yeah, I think that it's around the corner. So I thought it would be fun if we had our own predictions and rumors to like the sea of predictions out there. Honestly, you type in Nintendo Switch 2 rumor
Uh-huh.
on Google, it's like holy cow, it's ton. There's a ton of different things. So yeah, I think that we should like kind of add in our own little 2 cents here. So I did create a little bit of a list, and I think most of these are going to happen. So I would classify these as predictions, and any that's not a prediction, I'll just reclassify as like something that I just want to happen.
Okay.
So do you just want me to read? Do you have anything that you want to ship in, or just kind of go off my list here?
I'm wondering if like I have like 2 or 3 things off the top of my head, but I'm wondering if they're already on your list.
I bet you
So,
they are. Yeah, if they're not, we'll get to them. Okay.
okay.
Number one, and I think that this is going to happen. Keep it simple.
Okay.
Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't come out with like the something absolutely wild. Just like have a more powerful, a better running, a better functioning Nintendo Switch, and I think that's all you need. I don't think that you
Yeah.
need anything else. Nintendo has a history of, God bless them. They have a history of not resting on their laurels, right? Like they will try something new, even if it's what nobody wants.
Yeah.
Like so I think that is what should happen and what will happen. Like I've used this analogy a bunch of times. I think it's going to be like the Switch is going to be the DS, the Switch 2 is going to be the 3DS. Basically the same thing, but with a few extra, bells and whistles added in. I have to believe that is the route that they're taking for the Switch 2.
I want to say that's what one of the things I had in mind as well is I want it to be something that's very compatible with what we've experienced for the last 7 years with the Switch.
Yeah.
Like, especially they're having those new Joy-Con come out with the Peach game, and it's like I can't help but think is like, why are you trying to sell those if you have a new console supposedly coming out soon
Yeah.
that we're hoping for? And I'm like, but maybe it's because they're going to continue to use the Joy-Con. And I think that the Joy-Con are actually like an insanely cool and interesting controller. They just have
Yep.
issues. So like fix the Joy-Con, obviously, and keep them so that people who have been buying Joy-Con for the last 7 years can continue to use them.
You know why we're such a good team?
Why?
Because you throw out the ball for a segue and I crack it out of the park with the next thing.
Okay.
So my next point, new controllers, but make it so that the Switch 2 is compatible with Joy-Cons for everybody that owns them.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
think that you want to replace the Joy-Con with a more I don't know like what, because I think that I love the idea of the Joy-Con. Like I think that is an incredible idea, but like I think you need to replace it with something a bit more robust, something that is a little like a little bigger, particularly on portable, and that will make like a like almost like a legit controller, like when you put it together, not like the Joy-Cons. So like I'm almost like. And listen, I have no idea, right? But a pro controller that maybe is like a little transformer or something like that. He
That'd be
Optimus
cool.
Primes
A
down, and
Transformer Pro controller.
yeah, he
Yeah.
fits on the Switch 2, and like maybe actually portable wise, you could get away with having the same amount of buttons, same amount of everything. But like when you take it out, you could like you can, and it's like this big like legit controller that's not gonna drift, and it's not gonna like they cannot release another shitty controller that you have to replace every couple months because your left joystick is making you walk in a circle, right? Like that has to be fixed.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the idea of like, because I'm also not like a huge I like having the Joy-Cons and collecting the Joy-Cons for when I am portable, or when I have my brothers come over and we play multiplayer stuff together.
Yeah.
But I'm also like more of just like a regular controller type of person, and I like playing on my TV versus portable. So the idea of getting to like mix my Joy-Con with like some kind of transforming effect to make it a pro controller, like I'm down for that. That sounds awesome.
And then I think I would as well, like you can make it so that your Switch 2 rather is compatible with Joy-Cons. Like you can still use them or whatever, like connect them to the Switch 2. I don't know if I would, like, on portable mode, and we're assuming, by the way, that Switch 2 is portable, like the same general gimmick as the Switch.
I can't imagine them going backwards from that. Like,
No, I don't think so. I think it
yeah.
has to be. But
Yeah.
so this is what I would say. I would say that I don't think that portable would or maybe should support Joy-Cons. It'll support like the new controller. I still, like, I think I would have, like, on the dock, like the Switch dock, maybe a spot to charge some Joy-Cons if you want, like almost like N64 style. So like at the back of the dock or whatever, you could just like slot your two here. You could slot your Peach Joy-Cons here. You could slot your Animal Crossing ones here. You could slot your Zelda ones here. Whatever, right? Have a spot where you could charge those Joy-Cons. But I think for for the handheld, you want like the Transformer Joy-Con, almost like the you've seen those unofficial, like, I don't even know what you call them, like they're Joy-Cons, I guess, but they feel like a controller. Like they have a grip, they have something that you can like hold in your hands. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's,
Is it like is it a different company that like
yeah, it's a
creates
third party company, yeah.
Yeah.
But instead of like just like the standard like the Joy-Con, there's like, it's like a grip, like you know, like when you hold like the N64 controller, there's that little groove that you could fit
Oh
in the
yeah,
palm
yeah,
of your
yeah.
hand. Like
Yeah.
that, I would imagine what the new controllers would look like, and yeah, just
Okay.
like a little bit beefier, you know?
Okay.
So that's I don't know. I think that's kind of more of a want for transforming controllers, but I do think that like new Joy-Cons is going to happen, and it's a must because these Joy-Cons, no good.
Yeah. Yeah,
No
I
good.
agree. It's been such an issue.
Okay, so this is absolutely not a want. It's a want, but it has to happen. If this doesn't happen, I will eat my hat live on this show. This Switch 2 console has to be backwards compatible with Switch
Yep,
games.
that was on my list too. Yeah.
Has to be. This would be like the biggest blunder in the history of the known galaxy if this did not happen.
I mean, when you think about it, like Nintendo has been really good about backwards compatibility with previous consoles, so it's like I don't think they would stop now.
I
You
don't
know?
think so either.
Like I know that obviously the Wii between the Wii U and the Switch, that wasn't really like a factor, but it's because it went from disc to cartridge. So if you're gonna continue with the cartridges, it only makes sense to have the backwards compatibility. And I mean, you could play Wii games on the Wii U, you could play GameCube games on the Wii. Like they've been really good about it in the past, and I don't see them. My concern is like all the stuff on the NSO should be able to be compatible on your Switch too.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that as well. And I have more to say on that in just a little bit, but I want to get there first. So second thing, and this has already happened with like the newer versions of the Switch, but I want to see it happen more because I want the, like I think the portable is going to be at least OLED size. It's going to have at least that good a screen, but I want it to have better than OLED. So that being said, you got to get that battery life like way up. Way up. My Switch lasts me like 2 hours. I have a day one Switch. So after, after a couple hours of gaming, it's like the stupid battery flashes, and I'm just like, ugh. I want something that is like beefy.
Okay.
Give me like, I don't know. I don't even know what's appropriate. How long does the 3DS last you? Like,
Probably I
5, 6
probably have
hours?
to plug in about 5 hours. I'm trying to think of like when I do a playthrough of Ocarina of Time or
Right.
Spirit Tracks. I would say about 5 hours is when I need to plug in.
Okay, so I would say it has to last at least that long. And so this is more of a want. But if they could find a way to sell like battery packs for it, or maybe something that you could plug in, like an official Nintendo whatever that you could plug in like on the unit, and it's like we were all playing Pokemon Go and we all had like the portable like battery packs or whatever that we plug into our phones so that they didn't die. Give me that Switch 2 compatible so that I can just sit on my arse and play on Switch 2 on my couch, and I'm like, oh no, it's dying. Wait a second. glunk. Here's my Nintendo Switch 2 battery pack. Yeah!
Yeah.
I got
Makes
6 more
sense.
hours ahead of me.
You know, Nintendo does a really good job with their batteries on their Pro controller. Something I've noticed because I could sit and play with my Pro controller for like days on my
Hmm.
Switch, but when it comes to my PlayStation 5, that controller doesn't last like 6 hours. So, I'm over here like, "Oh man, I should be taking a break. I shouldn't be playing games for 6 hours straight." But I'm like, "Man, I have to take a break. I don't have to take a break with Nintendo's controller." So like I feel like they can do it with like certain things, but they could totally enhance the battery life on the actual console itself.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
And so I have a follow up to that as well because off it. So I play like 99% in handheld mode on my Switch, and there are times when the thing is
You're
about to
two
die.
totally different people.
Well, as I've explained before, I don't know if you could see. So anybody watching on video, my dog has been kind of walking around in the background here, and he really doesn't like coming down to my basement, which is where my TV and stuff is. So we
Hmm.
try not to. Or like I try not to be down here as much, right? So like I take my Switch with me and I play.
Hmm.
And sometimes when I'm playing, that Nintendo Switch battery, which lasts about 2 hours, starts to die, and I'm like, ah, damn it! But I'm gonna bring my cable. I'm gonna bring it upstairs. However, playing the Switch with that cable plugged into it is the most obnoxious thing because it's right at the bottom. So I don't know about you, but I play my Switch and I kind of rest it on my chest and I'm like playing my thing.
Okay.
And you can't do that if it's plugged in. So this is a
Yeah.
simple thing. Put that charging port anywhere else except on the bottom of the Switch. And
Okay.
I know that you use it to connect it to the dock, but I think we could do better now. I think that we could maybe you just like take the Switch and you like push it in and lock it in place, and the charging thing is at the back instead of the bottom, right? So like
Okay. Yeah.
it's a simple thing, but I think it would be cool. And if you put your Nintendo Switch 2 battery pack in there, you wouldn't also be like it wouldn't be this big clunky thingamajig on the bottom that you'd have to grab, right? Or like
Hmm.
grab
I'm
around
trying to
rather.
think. Also because like. Where do you like plug in anything? So say you're on a plane and you don't want anybody to hear your audio, so you plug in headphones.
Hmm.
Like, is that on the bottom or is that on the top?
That's on the top. Thank God.
Okay.
I didn't write
But
this down, but these guys better still have a headphone jack. I swear to God, if they go like Android or iPhone where there's no headphone jack, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I would love the ability to like Bluetooth to it though. Like if I could get it on my
You
AirPods.
have that ability.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So I'm over here using like
Oh.
wired freaking headphones.
No, like I connect my AirPods to it as well, but like
Okay.
there's some times where you need a headphone jack, right? Like
Yeah.
it's better to have it than not have it.
Okay. Gotcha. I
Um,
need to look into that.
yeah, I use it all the time. Works like a dream, actually.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so here we go. This is my next big thing, and I think it's a want, but it could be a prediction as well. So you kind of tell me. But I think there's a lot of opportunity to improve that dock. Right now, that
Okay.
dock is kind of like a flimsy piece of plastic that it does its job, but like
Yeah.
I think we can do better. So one, as I already talked about, I think that we can have like charging ports for Joy Cons. I think we could have more charging ports for our Transformer controllers. But I think that we could also do better as well. I think that you potentially could add a like I don't know, like a 4K module. Maybe it's packaged in, maybe it's sold separately. I don't know. But like for people that like have like 4K TVs, like let's get them something to be excited about if they have a Nintendo Switch 2. I
Yeah.
think this is definitely a want. This has never happened, but like why not put a disc drive in that thing, you know? Have it so it can play movies. Have it so God forbid, maybe it could even play Wii U games or something like that, right? Like go
Yeah.
for it. Like you've got this thing, and like I think that, and maybe this stuff is sold separately, right? Maybe there's like a standard dock, and maybe there's like the beefy Big Mama Jama dock, and like you could decide whichever one you want to purchase. So if you're a gamer like me, you're in handheld mode 99% of the time, you're like, whatever, I'm just getting the basic one. But if you're playing on the TV a lot, you're just like, okay, well, I want the souped up version. Like let's put some other options in there. Like let's put some other things, and I can't think of anything else like off the top of my head, but like I was like, disk drive, okay, good. Like visual upgrades, good. That's good.
Hmm.
Maybe like when it's docked, your games just run smoother, which I think they do right now, anyways. But it's like not really that significantly smoother.
Okay.
I think there's room there for, I don't know, just for like other things, other stuff that you could do with this dock to make your Switch 2 experience much better.
I just worry that if they do enhance the dock, it would be more expensive because there was a point where I needed a second dock, but I didn't need a second Switch.
Right.
And it's expensive. It's like $100. I wound up finding a refurbished one on Newegg for like $50, but even still, like that's I
Yeah.
worry that if you're going to enhance it and you need another, like say you have multiple TVs in the household and you can like put it between your switch to different TVs. I don't want to spend $200 on another dock.
Right. And I think that's
Yeah.
a fair and legitimate concern. And
Yeah.
I think I don't really have a counter to that other than just like it kind of would be what it would be. And like maybe then you do sell like the standard dock and like the super dock, like
Yeah.
the
That would be
dock
cool.
64 kind of
The
thing.
Dock 64. This made me think of something else just talking about that is like there's a bunch of households that need multiple switches because, multiple people want to play on them.
Yeah.
And I think that the Switch is like an awesome opportunity to have multiple consoles cuz like say you have a household where husband and wife both like to play the Xbox. You got to buy two Xboxes or
Yeah.
else you got to take turns. But if you could both buy, like, if you could have, like, a Switch deal where you have, like, get two Switches for $500 instead of $650 or whatever the ultimate price is going to be for two of them, I think that would be super cool because there is definitely, like, a big supply for, like, a big demand for two or multiple Switches in a household.
Yeah. I would.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I would. I would agree with that. I think that'd be cool. Like, I think if you're gonna sell the dock separately, why not sell the Switch separately too? Like, just give people more options to buy the Switch, right? Like, and package them together, of course, and it's cheaper if you do. But like, why not do that?
Yeah.
Okay, this one I'm pretty sure is pretty likely to happen because I believe it's tied to your Nintendo online account. But like, if you purchase anything, a digital game on the Switch, make it so that you could just like bring it right over to the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Because you could do that with like the DSs from DS to 3DS. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a hard time believing that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so this I don't know if this is a want or like this feels like a want, but it just feels like something that should happen. Like it should have happened for the Switch. But like make this thing compatible with Discord, with Netflix, with YouTube and Twitch. And I know that eventually we got YouTube and Twitch for the Switch, but it took like years. Like day one, let's have this bad boy have like access to modern features and modern things like that, which I don't really think is asking a lot because like, I mean, for God's sake, the Wii U had access to Netflix. Like the Wii had, some stuff that you could get, you know what I mean? And like the Switch just kind of seemed like a little bit of a step backwards in that regard. And I don't know. Maybe I get it. Maybe it's because it's tied to what the Switch as a console is. Because it's less of like your typical like PC style console. Let's just call them like Xbox or even the Wii U, and more of like a handheld, I guess. But like, God, I felt like even on the 3DS, like you had some options to like connect to other apps or whatever. Like you can't even get the Weather Network on the Switch. Like let's come on, let's get something on this.
My thing about that is like I don't know why I would need those things on my Switch.
Well, okay, maybe for you, but like,
yeah,
if for me, if I can save myself having to get up off the couch, my skin is all sticky to the leather, I've got Dorito crumbs all over me, and I'm like, I gotta go switch the Nintendo Switch 2 to the PlayStation 5 so I can watch the latest episode of Schitt's Creek now. But I gotta, because Switch 2 doesn't have Netflix. Like, if I could just stop what I'm playing, go to Netflix on Switch 2, I'm a happy camper. And also, like, if Discord is a part of Nintendo Switch compatibility, say goodbye to those horrible, horrible, horrible Nintendo Switch voice apps that you are required to use if you want to have voice in, like, Splatoon or whatever, right? Like, terrible, terrible. So, like, having Discord compatibility would greatly eliminate that. And then, like, I mean, YouTube and Twitch, like, that should just be day one stuff, right? Like,
I guess in my brain I'm over here thinking that like smart TVs are staples now, but maybe they're not, and maybe people don't have like YouTube or Netflix on their TV like
I don't.
directly.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay. I just thought that was like, I don't know. I just thought that was the age we lived in where everybody had that. But
Oh,
then that
brother,
makes sense.
I'm like so cheap. I haven't bought a new TV in like 10 years.
Okay.
Like 10 years. I hate spending money on a TV. I really do. Because I'm not like a tech guy, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, whatever. This looks good. This looks great to me.
Yeah. I'm the same where like I go to Best Buy and I look at all the TVs and I'm like, they look all the same.
Yeah.
You know, and so I see the brand I know and what I like. But I also haven't bought like a TV in a while, like maybe 7 years. But it still has the stuff on it. So I guess I was just kind of thinking that that was the standard for TVs, but I didn't know that they still created regular TV.
I'm sure they do, but I'm sure you're right. I'm sure most new TVs now have all that kind of stuff built in. But like, put the options in anyways, just in case they don't.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
And
Totally
I will say too, so 10 years ago when I bought my TV, I bought like, I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So I think I only spent like $400 or $500 or something like that. So I bought, like, obviously not the newest of the line. So like I bought a TV 10 years ago, but it was like a 15-year-old TV or something like that, right? But by God, it still looks fine. It looks great.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever. But the damn thing doesn't have Netflix built in. So,
Gotcha.
Okay. This is another one that just seems bizarre to me that this did not happen. But in terms of like the actual like Switch 2 interface, can we like liven it up a little bit? Like maybe some themes, maybe some colors, maybe some customizability, if that's even a word. And like I personally, I have to like I don't really care about this, to be honest with you, but I know a lot of people do, and it's like this just seems so easy, and it would appease a lot of people. Let's just do it, just do it.
I miss the Wii U days when you had the little Miis running around making little noises and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I mentioned this on a past episode, but the 3DS used to have this little crane game where you could go in and it had a bunch of different little like themes. So I always did the Zelda theme ones, and you would get little stickers that would eventually be put on, you could put on your front home screen and kind of decorate your screen. And then also they had the backgrounds where you could get the background and then it'd play the music. So like Hyrule Warriors background, Breath of the Wild background, Majora's Mask background, and then it played the music or made little sounds when you moved around on the 3DS. Like that was so cool, and I really customized that. I'd love to have that on the Switch too.
Like anything, right? Like you've got light mode, you've got dark mode, and that's it. You better like one of them, because that's all you get. So yeah, just like some more options, like you're right, like the 3DS had like a ton of different options, like a ton of them, and for whatever reason, I guess they just decided that wasn't important. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this clip and want to see more of the Zelda Cast, make sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform of choice and subscribe. There are over 200 episodes in the vault that will provide you with hundreds of hours of Zelda content for you to enjoy. You can listen to us when you're on a walk, fighting Ganon, trying to sleep, whatever. And if you want to see these shows as they happen, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/the Zelda Cast, where you can watch our beautiful faces talk about Zelda every single week. Don't miss out, and we'll see you next time.